Hey, good morning, everybody. Well, it's a bit of an overcast day, which is just fine. Everything needs a little break from the sun. I am thrilled you're here. I'm Rita Hickman, body mind expert, shiatsu massage therapist, and I help women who are in toxic and narcissistic relationships. I help them figure it out. I help them move forward, get unstuck, get their brain cleared, the fog out of there, get their energy up, get their health back on track, get their IBS managed, get boundaries in place, get them to move forward, find their voice, all that, get a community, all that great stuff. That's what I do. I've been doing it for a long time. And I just love it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about metaphysics. We're going to talk a little bit about energy work. So as some of you may know, I was raised Catholic. And because of what I was going through when I was a Catholic kid, faith and metaphysics and spirituality just did not land with me. I felt so out of sync with the church, the things that they were talking about. And the Catholic Church is extremely metaphysical. It's extremely mystical. It's got these beautiful, amazing traditions and relationships with spirit and energy and a universal concept. It's really, really cool stuff. But they don't call it that, and they tend to think they've got a corner on it. So, for the longest time, I had because of my anger and frustration with many aspects of how the church was run. Because of that, I stayed away from metaphysics too. And I was at the point where I was like, you know what? If you cannot explain to me how this might work on a physical level, if you can't use language that I understand, then I just can't buy into it. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to walk into something without feeling secure and confident in it myself. And so I'd go to all of these wonderful traditions, and they were beautiful, and they'd have these metaphysical aspects to them, and I loved it. And I could see how it could affect psychology. I could absolutely see how it could affect how someone would think. And that's kind of the direction I went. But as time's going on, science is supporting more and more and more and more and more and more energy and what it is and how it works and how to manage it. So even though I've never been, a big believer of a lot of this stuff, I've still studied it and been fascinated by it, by the effect on psychology and the subconscious, until science really started explaining to me, being able to explain to me why things were happening. And that would be quantum physics, where all these traditions came from, why they work, how they work, anything from chakras, which I've been studying for decades, because being a body worker, I love that stuff, to law of attraction and creating reality, to running your energy in your body, to acupressure points, which is Asian medicine, and the meridians, which is Asian medicine. And that's, in fact, why I really went into Asian medicine, because they could explain to me what was going on, at least some sort of connection. And as time has gone by, as I said, I've become more and more of a believer, not a believer because I can now see how it's all interconnected. I'm now able to explain it and not just say, well, you just have to believe. You just have to have faith. When people kind of say you just have to believe and have faith, I definitely get a little dicey, because I don't, wait, faith for me is based on a little bit of understanding and not just jumping off the cliff. I've done plenty of jumping off cliffs, and I just like to be a little mindful before I do. Okay, so one of the things I've run into chakras a lot, as I said, being a body worker. One of the first times I started to run into chakras is when I went to Las Vegas. And it was suggested to me that I see a woman who was who did tantric shamanism. And I went in and I chatted with her about stuff, and I loved it. And in fact, it's where I got a lot of the, structure for my practice when I first started, how does she do this? How does she, what does she charge? How long is the session? Stuff like that. And the exercise that she gave me was this breathing and visualization exercise. And I thought, well, that's very nice, but what does this really do for me? And so, like with other things I don't understand, I don't practice them. I didn't practice it. I didn't make it a part of my life. Just because I was like, maybe my time's better spent. It's something that, for me, makes more sense. But now as time goes by, I can go back to some of those earlier experiences that I had and earlier exercises and be like, aha, I see how it works. Now I totally get it. So being in a narcissistic relationship means that you're constantly having your energy worn down, either by defending yourself, by not getting upset, by suppressing your emotions, by walking on eggshells, by having to, think on a higher level to figure out, if I say this in this way, will this trigger a reaction, which I really don't want? So you're constantly on high alert, and it wears your body out. Narcissists are exhausting. So it's good to do things which keep your energy up. So, okay, let me tell you what I know about quantum physics and metaphysics, and I actually know quite a bit because I love it, about how some of these things work, especially how it has to do with the body. Wherever your thoughts go, wherever your focus goes, especially in your body, is where your body sends blood, nervous system signals, extra white blood cells. It opens up the vessels, and it increases circulation. Circulation, not just blood circulation, but movement and life of everything. So if you were to spend your time focusing on your little toe for a while, you'll start to notice, and your little toe will start to feel different. Many times when I work with people, they comment on how hot my hands and my feet are. It's because that's where my focus is, so that's where the blood flow goes, because I use my feet a lot in my body work practice. It's neat work. So my focus is on my hands and my feet, and so of course my hands and my feet are going to get hotter. They're going to feel more electrical to people, and they do, because the nervous system signals, it increased what's going on. It increased the electricity to those areas. It increased the blood. It opened everything up. It's very cool stuff. So when you focus on different parts of your body, those are the parts of your body that your body now says, we got to do something about this. And the major chakras also have to do with your different organs and the different parts of your body and where we get stuck. So actually there's, from the experts that I've, listened to and read from, who have a bigger vision than me, there's supposed to be thousands of chakras. They don't even know where it ends. Thousands of different layers of energy, different layers within the layers. Just like with everything, the further you go down the rabbit hole, the more you find that the deeper the hole goes. And it's the same thing with chakras. So we have got at least thousands of chakras. But we're going to focus on 7 of them. 7 of them which are easiest to measure, most logical, things like that. So of the 7 chakras, we've got a base chakra that's at the bottom of our tailbone. We've got a chakra that's right above our sex organs and our abdomen. We've got one at our diaphragm, one at our heart, one at our throat, one at our third eye, and one above our head. And if you think about it, those are pretty major locations for the body. If you're going to divide it out, it's pretty major. And the colors go bottom to top, Roy G. Biv, the whole rainbow colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So but like colors, there isn't just 7 colors. There's like thousands of colors. You can have so many variations. It's crazy. So these are the 7 that most people focus on. So if you get out of the idea of, if you look at the point that these chakras are just areas that your body tends to have a little more focus, send a little bit more more body to, to give it a little bit more oomph and strength. Energy at its core is a wavelength. It's, we can't see it, but it's like radio waves. It's like the waves in a microwave. It's the waves coming off of your cell phone. It's the waves coming off of, your antenna and the electrical wires. It's waves that are coming off. They're waves. That's what energy is. And so you can manage how your body functions by focusing on some of your different chakras. Now, if you're feeling tired, it means that you don't have good circulation. Things aren't moving. Things aren't moving in your body, just like a stagnant pond. When things don't move in the stagnant pond, there's no water flow. It gets icky and overgrown, and there's algae, which then sinks to the bottom and sucks up all the oxygen, and there's nothing, nothing can really live there except the bottom feeders that don't need much oxygen, and you don't have diversity. You don't have good, healthy life. When you don't have good, energetic movement, if the wavelengths get stuck, let's say because your stomach is locked down because you're stressed out, it impedes the flow. It gets all mucked up, or let's say you get locked up in your throat in saying things that are important to you. Every time you want to say something that's important to you, your throat locks up, and you can't quite breathe, you can't quite swallow. Maybe in your heart, your chest gets tight and you can't breathe very well. And maybe you struggle then with asthma because that's where the block is. So our blocks are emotional, they're mental, they're based on memories and perceptions and nervous system reactions. And so if you want to unblock these things, you have to give them a little bit of attention. So one of the wonderful things that I learned at the beginning of my bodywork practice was that your mind doesn't know the difference between something that you imagine and something that actually happens outside of you. So this is work that you can do on your own, and in fact it's very effective if you do it on your own. And when you take time to do these things, it increases the circulation, it increases the movement, and it increases your energy flow, okay? Not just energy as in, oh, what is energy? But energy as in, yeah, the wavelengths move better, the blood moves better, the lymph moves better, everything moves better and keeps you healthy, it keeps you energized. And when a narcissist is in your life, you're tired and you need to do what you can do to keep your energy up and to heal when they've knocked you down and to work piece by piece on the areas that you feel blocked, okay? So this is the exercise that I learned from the tantric shaman, and she was great. I loved her. And so there's two things, and you can do them in bed, you can do them while sitting someplace, you can do them in the doctor's office, waiting in line at the grocery store, it doesn't matter. One is called running your energy. And what it is you imagine that your energy is coming up, to the top of your head and then back down. So it comes up your front, and it goes back down your back and then kind of goes back into the earth if you want to use the earth one. But really it's just a big circle that goes from, toes to head. So what are you doing? You're telling your body, I want things to flow smoothly from my toes to my head, all the way in that circle. I want to get things re-energized. I want to get them moving again. And what you focus on is what your body says, oh, okay. Now this is great when you've got blocks for things, because similar to how flowing water will wash away sediment, this is the same sort of thing. When you've got your energy flowing, it washes away the beliefs and the blocks and the emotion chemicals that are stuck. It gets things moving again, because as we know, when you unplug a dam, the dam washes everything away that's downstream. It cleans things up pretty quickly, okay? So when you run your energy, when you just imagine in your head, you quiet yourself down and imagine feeling, and put your focus on Okay, I'm paying attention, coming up my legs, coming up my stomach, coming up my head. Now go back down my spine and down to my sacrum and back down my legs. And now I'm going to come back up and down again. You know, it's a big loop. It's a big circuit. When you do that circuit, it means that it will allow for the energy to flow easier, even when you're stuck somewhere, even when it's something you felt stuck for forever. It'll slowly and gently start to wash those things away, the things that get in the way. So running your energy actually clears up a lot of beliefs, but it's something that you want to do every day. So when I say do self-care or energy work every day, this is one of the things you might do, okay? One of the things you might do once a week. All right, so the other one is where you focus on your chakras. Remember the base of your spine, kind of your sex organs and abdomen, your diaphragm, your heart, your third eye, or your throat, your third eye, and the top of your head, okay? So you take each one, and you put your focus there. You pay attention to it. You expand it. It's like you're telling your body to send more blood there and to make it big. And so if you want, you can imagine it with its corresponding color, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. You can imagine the color. You can imagine it expanding, you know, and contracting, like almost with every breath, expand and contract, just like your heartbeat would or your breathing would in a rhythm. You know, you can send focus there and then relax, and send focus there again and relax. And what that does is that kind of gives a little bit of an extra boost, you know, gives a little bit more energy to each of those different spots. You know, and nurtures it, nourishes it, and loves it a little bit more, and makes sure it gets what it needs, you know, and positive thought, and it can relax, and it can open up, you know, because it's that tension that blocks everything. When our body is tense, either chronically or because of a certain event, nothing flows well, and when nothing flows well, your body can't heal, and when it can't heal, then you get sicker and angrier and more frustrated, and you start to spiral down. So let's say you want to do your third eye. You focus on your third eye, and that would be indigo. I might close my eyes, and I would imagine the color indigo, and I would imagine that, you know, like a ball of light or a ball of energy, indigo maybe, expanding and contracting, maybe with my breath, you know, giving it a little bit more focus, a little bit of that laser focus, okay? And what that does, what you'll notice, is that those parts of you end up feeling a little bit more tingly, a little bit more awake, a little bit clearer, a little bit more functional, a little bit healthier and alive. You know, when you do something like that, when you focus on it, let's say your throat, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, so the throat's blue. Focus on that blue color and let it expand and contract, expand and contract, expand and contract. So it's like you're giving it extra love and attention. You're telling the body, you know what, pay attention here. And it will help you clear out a lot of problems. Now, some people ask about clockwise versus counterclockwise. Now, there's different opinions. The one that I prefer is that depending upon the chakra, it depends upon which direction it spins. However, I'm not going to worry as much about that. I'm not going to worry as much about which direction it spins, because I really just want to nourish it, and I want to get it what it needs. And the cool thing is when you give the parts of your body or your mind or your heart or your emotions or your beliefs or your relationships, when you give it love and attention, what happens is that it starts to heal itself. It starts to get back in alignment. It starts to fix itself. It's as a side effect of you doing this, your body does what it does best, which is heal, which is get itself back on track. Your job is just to tell it, hey, I want to heal this. I want to do something about this. Your job is to direct the flow of energy, not to make the flow of energy happen, not to stop things, but to direct it. To say, I want you to go here because on a physical level, I'm struggling with this. Maybe a headache, maybe your heart hurts, maybe your abdomen hurts. I'm struggling with this, and so I want to give it some love and attention. You know, maybe your knee, maybe your hip, whatever it may be. But I find it works best with the chakras. They're a little bit more sensitive. The organs have more, a little bit more sensitivity to things and you can feel a difference better. With the joints, it's a little bit harder. But with the organs, you can be like, hey, I really felt a difference. This really feels a little more alive. This is kind of cool. So here's your homework assignment for the day. I want you to run your energy, and I want you to do some chakra work, some chakra energy work. And if you do this, you'll start to notice that you recover faster, just like an athlete after a big, exercise, getting massage. You start to recover faster. You start to find that you're thinking cleaner, that things are working better, because you're telling the energy to go and clean itself out and to heal itself and bring life back into it, because life is what heals. Life is what makes things move forward and triggers the response that you want. So your job as a healer and my job as a healer is not to fix things. Our job is to direct the flow of energy, to consciously direct the flow of energy instead of subconscious based on our fears and anxieties and beliefs, but to, with intention and consciously, focus the energy and use it to our advantage, because wherever there's life, there's going to be life. There's going to be healing. There's going to be movement. It's going to get better that way, okay? So try out these two exercises, the chakra one that we practiced and the running of your energy, and start seeing how things start to shift and change, okay? And if you don't belong to the healthy mindsets to cope with narcissists, then if you don't belong, join. Look it up on Facebook and join. It's a wonderful community for women who are all struggling with this same thing. And if you've already joined, then invite somebody else. Because when we have a wonderful, loving, compassionate, supportive community that isn't about evil, that isn't about who's wrong and who's right, that gets beyond the anger and actually starts healing you and getting you to the highest version of yourself that you can be, when that's kind of the focus, not on a surface, because we still have to feel the things that we feel, and we've talked about that a lot, but feel it in a compassionate, loving way, all right? Because that is what keeps everything open and heals. In fact, I did this great exercise the other night on a seminar, and it was about how teaching methods, that when we have a teaching method of, you got this wrong, -2 on the top, or a red pen, this is what you got wrong, people shut down. And when they shut down, there's no circulation. And when there's no circulation, there's no life. And when there's no life, we don't think clearly. We don't solve problems clearly. We don't absorb new information very well. And there's been tons of studies now, as well as so many case examples from people that I know, that when we are in a positive environment, where only the positive things are focused on, where only the love is focused on, and what we did right, and like those first steps, like when a child first starts to walk, you're so excited for every step that they take. You don't go ballistic when they fall on their butt. Instead, you're like, oh no, this is going to be great. Let's go. We can do this. Treat yourself the same. Treat yourself with that love, focusing on the things that you've done, because if you do, you will be 200% better able to absorb new information, because everything's open. You can feel it. You aren't spending all of that energy defending yourself against everybody. Instead, you're able to be open and feel it. Now, let yourself be vulnerable first with people who are safe. You got to do it with people who are safe, because this is a new experience for you. You're not going to have, a child learn to walk on glass. It's a bad idea. You start with people who are safe, like you. Let yourself be safe for yourself. Or me. Or women in the narcissist, group. Start out with people who are safe, focusing on that positive. Build that muscle. Get better at it. Get more grounded in it. Evolve and grow a little bit. And then use it in the hard situations with the people who are crazy and negative and hard and awful. Because if you try with the hardest people first, you're going to fail, you're going to stop, you're like, this doesn't work, I hate this, I got beat up again, this is terrible. So start with safe people, get strong about it, get good at it, and then save the narcissists for, when you're ready to do your half marathon, okay? Start out with safe people who you are in the same space that you are, okay? So I think that's it. I hope you have a great day. It's going to be a great Wednesday for me. I'm so looking forward to it. And I will talk to you later. All right?